David asterisk what was the lady doing here before you entered? Rosalind asterisk oh, David, she needed money for a dyer, urgent need I never imagined. David asterisk and I suppose you gave it to her. Rosalind asterisk well, David, I couldn't refuse, after all. David asterisk after all, what, how much did you give her? Rosalind asterisk she asked for £500. David asterisk it was a relief to David when he laughed and said, just a mosquito bite, a parasite. Rosalind asterisk oh, David, it's a large amount. David asterisk not large for us now. Rosalind, it seems you haven't really realized that you are a very rich woman. Nevertheless, if she asked for 500, she would have been completely satisfied with only 2. You need to learn the language of borrowing. Rosalind asterisk I'm sorry, David. David asterisk my dear girl, it's your money in the end. Rosalind asterisk it's not really my money. David asterisk don't start that tune again. Cordon Claude died before he could make a will. That's what they call the luck of the game. We won, others lost. Rosalind asterisk it doesn't seem fair. David asterisk come on, my dear beautiful Rosalind, don't you enjoy all of this? A huge house, servants, jewels, isn't this a dream come true, isn't it? Thank God, sometimes I think I'll wake up and find it all just a dream. Rosalind asterisk I laughed with him, feeling satisfied after watching him. David knew how to handle his sister. He saw that it was neither useful nor appropriate for her to have a conscience, but that was how it was. She said, yes, David, it's like a dream or a movie story. I do enjoy it, truly, I really do. David asterisk but you should keep what you have now, no more giving away. The Claude family, Rosalind, each one of them has more water than I or you ever had. Yes, I think that's true. David asterisk where was Lynn this morning? Rosalind asterisk I think she went to Long Willows. David asterisk Long Willows, and the fool Rowley, his spirit of promotion has vanished. Is she then determined to marry the man? David left the house in a bad mood and walked through a dense group of azaleas, then out through the small gate at the top of the hill. The dirt road sloped down from their pasture farm and onto the estate. As David stood there, he saw Lynn coming up from the farm, hesitating, then taking a confrontational stance as she descended to meet him. They met at a dirt step halfway down the hill. David asterisk good morning, Lynn, how's the wedding? Lynn asterisk I've asked that before, and you know the date exactly. It's in June. David asterisk and are you going through with it till the end? Lynn asterisk I don't know what you mean, David. David asterisk oh, you know. Then he laughed derisively and said, Rowley? And what is Rowley? Lynn asterisk, with disdain, he's better than you. If you dare, perhaps he is better than me, but I dare. I definitely dare to do anything for you, Lynn. David asterisk, momentarily, you don't realize that I love Rowley. David asterisk I wish I could believe it. Lynn asterisk I tell you I love him, I love him. David asterisk he looked at her, examining her, then said, we all see images of ourselves as we want them to be. You see yourself loving Rowley, settling with Rowley, living with Rowley, convinced by him, but that is not your true self, is it, Lynn? Lynn asterisk or what is my true self? But what is your true self, if we are to speak of that? What do you want? David asterisk I would say I want security, calm after the storm, rest after troubles, but sometimes, Lynn, you and I want troubles. David asterisk I wish you had never come here. I was perfectly happy until you went mad. Lynn asterisk aren't you happy now? David asterisk he looked at her, feeling the excitement rising inside her, her breath quickening. She had never felt David's strange attraction to her so strongly. He quickly extended his hand, grabbed her shoulder, and turned her around. Then, just as quickly, she felt his grip slacken as he gazed behind her up the hill. She turned her head to see what caught his attention. A woman had just entered through the small gate of the house. David asterisk who is that? Lynn asterisk she looks like Frances. David asterisk Frances? What does Frances want, my dear Lynn? Only those who want something come to see Rosalind, and you. Lynn asterisk my mother to see her this morning. David asterisk mother? Lynn asterisk Lynn recoiled and frowned, saying, what did she want? David asterisk don't you know? She wanted money. Lynn asterisk money? David asterisk Lynn stiffened, and David, amused, said, "It's strange how demanding Francis is. It's not safe to leave Rosalind alone for 5 minutes. The poor girl doesn't know how to say no." Lynn asterisk, "Did anyone else come?" David asterisk smirking. David said, "Aunt Callie had some debts. Not much, just £52 would have been enough to cover it, but she feared it would reach the doctor's ears." Lynn asterisk, "How would you see that?" David asterisk, if surprised. She turned and hurriedly ran down the hill towards the farm. David frowned as he watched her go. She had gone to Rowley. She headed there like a homing pigeon, and that bothered him more than he would admit. David asterisk, he looked back up the hill and frowned in thought, then said to himself softly, "Francis, you won't get what you want. You chose a bad day," and then walked resolutely up the hill. David asterisk, he entered the gate and walked through the azalea plants, then across the grassy meadow to the garden and quietly entered through the glass door into the sitting room. Just as Francis was saying, "I wish I could explain things more clearly, but the matter is very complex to explain." A voice from behind her said, "Is it really?" Francis turned sharply. Unlike Adela Marchmont, Francis did not intend to find Rosalind alone. The amount required was so large that it was unlikely Rosalind would give it without consulting her brother. Indeed, Francis preferred to discuss the matter with David and Rosalind together, as that was better than David feeling Francis had tried to get money from Rosalind in his absence. David asterisk, £10,000? Francis asterisk, "I know it's a large sum. I wouldn't have come to you if it weren't so difficult to raise such an amount, but Jeremy wouldn't have entered the deal without relying on Cordon's support. It's a great misfortune that Cordon died so suddenly." David asterisk, "and leaves you all out in the open like this, after a secure life under his protection?" Francis asterisk, "Your portrayal is very dramatic. Rosalind can't act with the same capital, as you know. She can only act with what the company earns from its income, and she pays a huge amount in income tax." "Can you manage it, right? And we will." He interrupted, saying, "We can manage it, but we must." Francis quickly turned to Rosalind and said Rosalind was generous. But David's voice cut her off. "What do you think, Rosalind? Do you consider the Claude family to be a cash cow? You all are attacking her, hinting and asking, begging, and behind her back, mocking and treating her with contempt, even wishing for her death." Francis shouted, "That's not true." "Not true? I handed you all over, and she will hand you all over too. You won't get any money from us, so stop coming and whining for it. Do you understand?" His face had truly turned dark with anger, and Francis' face had become like stone, expressionless. It was not a soldier's glove but a look that seemed to have a deeper meaning. Then she said, "You made your meaning clear, David." Rosalind replied, "I'm sorry, I'm really sorry." Francis ignored her, and since Rosalind was no longer in the room, she took a step toward the glass door and then stopped, facing David. She said, "I said I hated Rosalind, and that's not true. I've never hated Rosalind, but I hate you." He asked, glaring at her, "What do you mean?" She said, "Women have to live. Rosalind married a very wealthy man who is much older than her. So what? But you live at the expense of your sister, exploiting everything for your benefit and living a luxurious life at her expense. You are blocking her from those who covet her." The two stood exchanging glances. He realized her anger and had a sudden idea that Francis Claude was a dangerous enemy, possibly both vulnerable and reckless, lacking any restraint. When she opened her mouth to speak, he felt a moment of fear and anxiety. However, what she said did not imply any immediate stance. "I will remember what I said, David," she said, then passed by him and left through the glass door. A threat? He wondered why he felt strongly that her words contained a threat. Rosalind was becoming anxious. "David, you shouldn't have said those things to her. Among all of them, she is the kindest to me." He angrily replied, "Be quiet, you fool. Do you want them to completely undermine you and drain every penny you have?" "But the money, wasn't I entitled to it?" She soon backed down from his glare and said, I didn't mean that, David. That's what I hoped." He thought that conscience was indeed the devil. He hadn't considered Rosalind's conscience, and that could make things very difficult in the future. The future? His face darkened as he thought about it, contemplating Rosalind's future and his own. He had always known what he wanted, and now he knew what he wanted. But what was the future awaiting Rosalind? As his face grew more serious, she suddenly started to tremble and cried out, "I feel like someone is digging a pit for me." He looked at her in surprise and said, So you realize that things might reach this point. What do you mean, David? I mean that 5 people or more have every reason to hurry and push you to your grave before it's time for you to lie in it. I don't think you mean murder? Her voice was filled with horror, and then she said, "Do you think these people could kill? I don't think people as kind as the Claude family could do that. I think that the seemingly kind people, like the Claude family, are indeed the ones who commit murder, but they won't succeed in killing you as long as I'm here taking care of you. They will have to first get rid of me, but if they succeed in removing me from their way, you should be careful." David, don't say such things. He grabbed her arm and said, "Listen, if I'm not here someday, take care of yourself. Rosalind, life is not safe. Remember, it's very dangerous, and I see it as particularly dangerous for you.